Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Amir Khan is scheduled to face Terence "Bud" Crawford on April 20th at Madison Square Garden. Just want to dig right into it and give you guys a good breakdown of this potential matchup and what it means for the welterweight division. Now, first of all, I like to drop any myths or any talk about, Amir Khan ducking Kell Brook. At this point, since he took a bigger fight, it cannot possibly be a duck. You're facing a guy that's harder competition for a world title and a pound for pound status. That has to be commended. I think the Kell Brook fight will still be there. I think that Kell Brook at this point needs to look for a bigger fight than Amir Khan. And Kell Brook has some options on the table. Tony Harrison stated that he'd like to face Kell Brook in the UK at 154 pounds for his world title. And Jared Swift-Hurd has also stated the same thing. So Kell Brook has two potential mega fights in the UK for world championships at 154 pounds. Kell Brook wouldn't be weight drained. Kell Brook would just need to make sure that defensively he's a lot more responsible than he has been in his last few fights. On the reverse end, I think the Kell Brook versus Amir Khan fight will always be there. I understand, a lot of people say it's not, but I think these guys were just anxious to get that fight done because it would have been such a huge draw. At the end of the day, Amir Khan is stepping up to face a great challenge. This is why he wanted to sign with Eddie Hearn, because he wanted the big fights. He wanted to go after the bigger names. And Terence Crawford is one of the biggest names at welterweight. He's a world champion. He's a pound for pound star. So this cannot possibly be a duck. I think the fight will be a little bit more competitive than what most people think at the beginning of the fight. I think with the first 6 rounds, Amir Khan, depending on how he looks and how he boxes, Terence Crawford normally eases into a fight. He doesn't come out guns blazing. So I think that Amir Khan could possibly take those first few early rounds. But then when Terence Crawford turns it on, I just don't know how Amir Khan is going to handle that pressure. Is Amir Khan going to look at Terence Crawford because he's a smaller fighter and think that, hey, because he stated that Terence Crawford is not the biggest welterweight, he's small. He thinks that he could take advantage of that because he's small, because Amir Khan has blistering hand speed, and because Terence Crawford is just moving up from 140, only 2 fights at 147. A lot of guys look at Terence Crawford as small. A lot of guys look at him as being vulnerable to that degree. In my opinion, I think Terence Crawford is a full-fledged welterweight. Just like his trainer, Brian McIntyre, Bomac, stated, Terence could have been moved up to 147, but he wanted to unify first. And if you look at Terence 2 fights at 147, he fought 2 really big guys in a Jose Benavidez and a Jeff Horn. And, he don't necessarily always get the credit for those guys, but those are big, rough and tumble guys with 2 totally different styles. So I think that Terence Crawford has shown that he can adapt to many different styles. Amir Khan is going to be a full-fledged welterweight, but a guy with elite level hand speed, elite level boxing ability, and he's going to cause Terence Crawford some trouble. Terence will have to figure him out, but I think ultimately Terence will be able to figure him out and most likely stop him by at least the 8th or 9th round. I think he'll catch him after the 6th round. I think Amir Khan is a good and a very quality fighter, that he'll last at least 6 rounds. But just because I've seen Amir Khan has so many issues with his chin, I just don't have enough faith that he'll be able to survive the whole fight. I think Amir Khan's a good fighter. I think he's a brilliant fighter. And I think he's going to challenge Terence Crawford. But I just don't see his chin holding up for the duration of that fight. I think it will be a good fight, but I believe this fight propels Terence Crawford to get the winner of Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence. I think that people will call for that after that fight. After Terence Crawford gets a big name, since all the PBC fighters ran from him, the fact that Amir Khan stepped up to the plate, challenging him for the biggest fight of his career, I think this would be fantastic. I think this is going to help make Terence Crawford into a superstar. I think this is going to push him to that next level to get that type of fight with an Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia. A lot of people are going to be looking at Mikey versus Errol, if Errol or Mikey wins, no matter who wins, to say, why would we give Terence Crawford a shot? What would be the point? And the point is, Terence Crawford is putting in that work against top-level names to be able to build his fan base and get that attention. So this fight was absolutely necessary for Terence Crawford to be able to build his brand, his name, and to get more recognition in the welterweight division so he can get the bigger and better fights as the year progresses. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the Ibfp. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.